going racing on the sound of the tone. Work together here. Work together. We got Rick jumping out front. That's George, Joe, Cedric, Cris Cron, and Juston. Rick Jeffords setting the pace. He's got George and Joe right behind him. Oh, Joe, quick tag of the pipe, rolls him over. Lets Cedric by. Now top two pulling away. Rick and George, 17.6 and a 17.9. Oh, Rick Jeffords setting the pace. He's that burgundy, yellow, and green truck here through the berm. In the S-turns, cross the line. Rick, 17.5, 17 and a 5.03. George brings it by 17.514. Cedric, a 16.503. $18 flat that time for Rick. George brings it by 18.2. Cedric in the third spot, 18.2. Here comes Simon, brings it by 18.4. Cris Cron, 19.7. So out front, it's Rick Jeffords on a 17-lap pace, but I got to switch this to 6-minute races. We're doing 6-minute races here tonight. Someone should tell the race director. Oh, let's see what he's got. Rick brings it by on a 21.614. George on a 20 and a 605. Joe now into the third spot. Cedric has a bobble that lap. 25-second lap for Cedric. Puts Joe into the third spot. Thank you, Chris. Thank you. Oh, it's a Rick. 20 and a 601. George brings it by 20 and a 608. Here comes Joe. Joe in the third spot. Flirted with a 20-lap run. He's on a 19.6 flat. Look out in the berm over here. Well, 3:30 down, 2:30 left. Pace setter still Rick Jeffords. He's pulling away with a pretty sizable lead. He's coming through those doubles there. Going to be coming up behind Cedric and Cris Cron. Two minutes on the clock. 2 minutes left. The closest battle is now for second. It looks like Joe reeling in on George a little bit here down the straightaway. Well, the battle is for that 2 spot. They're hitting the doubles. George in the pink. Joe in the orange and yellow. And be coming up behind Chris. So look out, Chris. You got a good battle coming behind you. The minute 40 on the clock. Your pace setter right here through the berm. Cross the line. 20 and a 603. left, guys. 1 minute on the clock. It's Rick, Joe, George, Cedric, Cris, and Juston. Rick on a 20 and a 6:04. Pretty good pace for Rick out front. He doesn't really have anybody around him. Joe finds himself in the 2 spot. Top 3 all on that 20-lap pace. The battle for the 2 is still the best battle. Joe and George. They're through the berm. Joe with about 2 corners on George. Across the line goes Joe, 18.4. George brings it by 18.8. No time on the clock. Everybody cross the line. You will be done. And that's a race right there. Rick takes the win, 20 and a 6:03. Joe, 20 and a 6:11. George, 20 and a 6:14. Then a Cedric, Cris, and Juston.